But it leads into a nice story about Tom and Anna. Not their real photo. But it did remind me of this couple that I helped. Tom was a country boy from New South Wales. Anna was from London. And when I met them, they were a couple that were very stressed out. They were absolutely on the verge of burnout. They were utterly exhausted and they were juggling their really high pressure careers. He was a CFO, she was a senior management team, as well as having a young daughter. But their stress came from very, very different reasons. Anna's dream was to have a young child, hadn't been able to go back to England to show her young child to the grandparents. Fair enough, that's her dream. But the stress she was under from work felt that this was further away than ever before. She wasn't worried about her salary or going that. It was whether she would actually have a job in the next couple of months, whether the stress that she was under. Tom's situation was actually different. His situation was a generational thing. He had a father that every time he saw him, he said, "Why haven't you brought your family home? You know, you and Anna, you're both in good jobs. Why don't you have a home? I had a home for my family. Your grandfather had a home for his family." It really is this great Australian dream to own your own home. Old rules, old habits. We have to think differently, because here's the challenge. A family home in the 20th century, for virtually that 100 years, was 3 times salary. Now in Sydney, it's 12 times salary. We can't apply this old rule thinking into this new age. So when I actually spoke to Tom about buying a new home, he did say these 7 words, which to me is this amazing realization for so many people. If they can absolutely admit they don't know everything. We all talk about imposter syndrome, but it all comes from, I don't know what I don't know. And Tom luckily had a mentor, a work mentor. And he said it's not a sign of weakness to actually ask for help. And for him, I asked him, well, why is causing you all this stress? Owning your own home makes a lot of sense. He said, well, we live in a city. We love the inner city. We love the lifestyle. Our child goes to school here. We're close to work. We're close to family. We're close to friends. The only place we can afford is an hour from here on train. That's 2 hours in transport, away from family, away from work, away from friends, and our child would have to go to a different school. It has to be a better way, and it is. We want to be able to work smarter, not just harder. I had loving families and they worked hard all their life. They never owned their own home. We need to work smarter. So for his situation, I said, there is absolutely other rules, other strategies, and for him it was something called rentvesting. Rent where you want to live, invest where you can afford. And it worked perfectly. Even putting a plan in place for him, his father looked at it and said, yep, I get it. Financial security is in your future. There is a plan for you. You could see absolutely the stress levels just fell away from him. It was mindset and motivation. His mindset, he didn't know what he didn't know. He didn't know, was there a better way, apart from what his father was telling him. His motivation, it was his father's dream, not his dream. But once he worked out, I had a dream, he had a plan, he had clarity, his well-being soared, his stress reduced, and he became productive at work.